Oh, sorry. I didn't know you were in here. Oh, I have to change my voice settings. Hello? Yeah, I can hear you now. Hey, are you there? Alright, I can hear you now. Sorry, I had my output on the wrong speakers. Yeah.
For this.
Alright. Hello, everybody. This is episode 35 of Project Console. One button. And before we get into the topics, I'd like my panelist to introduce himself.
Hello, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of VS Busters, and I'm glad to be on another one of these podcasts.
Alright. And glad to have you. So, there was a state of play. There was a state of play last week, and by what I hear and by what I saw, because I didn't watch it, I looked it up after the fact. Yeah, it didn't seem that bad. Uh, they seem pretty solid. The announcements that they had. Let's see. Among some of the announcements that they had was um, it was Resident Evil 4 remake. One of the best, one of the worst kept secrets of
In gaming.
in gaming. Yeah, I mean it's definitely top. It's definitely top tier. And then there was what else? The Spider-Man game coming to PC. Let's see, trying to find the list real quick. Oh yeah, Street Fighter 6. There was a Street Fighter. They show some gameplay of Street Fighter 6, which at first
Angry.
I was angry about it. It's
Yeah.
like after getting burnt by Street Fighter 5, it's like, yeah, this game is probably just going to be as bad. But looking at it, it looks like they got a better hold of the art style. I don't even think they're using the Unreal Engine. They might be using their own RE engine. I know that's but I'm not, I'm not, I'm not sure what they're using. Then they showed some gameplay of Final Fantasy 16, which when I heard that they were using, I mean the combat looked a little better than what was in 15, and
I mean, I would say a lot better.
a
It
lot
looked a
better.
lot better than 615. 15's combat looked like 15's combat like. Have you ever played one of those cheap single A budget JRPG lights on
Yeah,
PC?
yeah,
Where the combat is so stiff and like you play, like it might be an IP that you like, but the combat is so bad that you're just playing through because you're a fan of the IP, not because the game is good. That's how the combat is in Final Fantasy 15. The difference is that those games have a budget of like maybe at the most 10 million, whereas Final Fantasy 15 had a budget of like over 100 million, and it still played that way, which is just unacceptable.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's using the RE engine, and that's a pretty well optimized engine. Play the games that come out on it for PC specifically are pretty well optimized. So it should look a lot better than
So you mean the
I feel
Resident
like.
Evil engine?
Yeah, the Resident Evil engine.
So that means they're probably licensing that engine away from Capcom, right?
Um, no, not Capcom. I'm saying. Sorry. I was saying that Street Fighter 6 is using that engine.
Oh,
That's
oh
the
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It'll be good. It'll be
yeah,
good. I mean, if that's the engine they're using, or even if it's Unreal, like I'm pretty sure, like Street Fighter Five was their first real foray. Well, they used Unreal for Street Fighter Four too, I think.
yeah.
But Street Fighter Five is where they went all in on Unreal and like from the ground up, and it did not turn out well at all. I remember when they showed off Chun Li's face, and I was like, "Fuck, who the fuck is that? It ain't Chun Li."
Now the thing about Street Fighter, yeah. I mean, yeah, she actually looks like what she should look like in this new game. She actually
Yeah,
looks
or at least
Chinese.
I mean, I won't say as she should because Chun Li has looked different in a whole bunch of fucking.
I mean, she looks a little more Chinese than what
Yeah,
she
she
did in
does look
Resident.
Asian.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
looks very Asian. She looks very Asian, as she should. I mean, she's fucking from China.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty different. And then there is yeah, and then there was and going back to Final Fantasy 16. Uh, apparently, the one of the game directors of Devil May Cry is working on the action, which is good. Just because again, Final Fantasy 15's action was pretty bad, and I hope they make a I hope they make a similar decision on the Final Fantasy VII remake rather than sticking to that whole, is it an action game? Is it a turn-based game? Because I did not like that. I did not like that system at all. Thought it was.
I
I
mean,
thought
personally, no. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry to cut you off.
I thought Final Fantasy VII remake should have just picked a lane. But
I I see where you're
5-hour
going.
energy.
Personally, I think
Sun is
they could have
out.
catered
It's
to
time
both.
to get outside.
What they should have
Give it all
done
you got.
was make combat in such a way so that if you chose action mode, it would play like an action game. But if you chose turn-based combat mode, it would play more like the traditional. Not exactly, not a one for one, but like kind of the equivalent to a turn-based style combat. So then you could have both. I think it's a travesty that it plays the way it does now with this like wishy-washy, movie mouth bullshit. But that's my own personal opinion. I could be wrong.
yeah, yeah. Um, see what else? There was. Oh yeah, they focus heavily on PSVR 2, uh,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not a huge fan of the VR scene. You know, people like PlayStation VR at the time because it was the cheapest, but even it being the cheapest, it's still $400. Uh, $400 for the headset. So
Yeah, but you also had to make the $500 investment for the PS4
yeah, you also have to do
or
that as well.
PS5s. I mean,
Yeah,
factor in two controllers and a game. I mean, it's a grand.
yeah,
Is that really that cheap?
yeah. It's not cheap because you have to have a PlayStation to use it.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not against VR, but I don't necessarily like any virtual reality that you need to buy a peripheral in order to use, and it doesn't come with whatever game like system that it's with, is doomed to fail.
yeah,
So let me put it this way: Microsoft has more money than God,
yeah.
and they couldn't get Connect to work. So
No,
what the hell makes you think that Sony, that has way less money than Microsoft,
yeah,
you know that old adage, make a square peg fit a round hole?
yeah.
Microsoft has enough money to really give it the old college try of making a square peg fit a round hole, and even they couldn't do it. People were like, we don't want this shit,
yeah,
and yet for some reason, for some unknown reason, which will never occur to me because I'm insane. People just kept on, oh no, it's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Stop.
no.
Stop trying to stop trying to force that hole. Stop trying to force that square peg into that round hole. People do not want um people don't want a peripheral in order to enjoy a game.
Yeah,
Like the and I know what some people are saying. Well, what about the NES Zapper? You forget in the first run of the NES Zapper in America, it was included with the system. The first run of the NES Zapper in Japan in '83, they called it something else, but the Zapper gun, it was included with the system. If you have a
5-hour
peripheral
energy.
and it comes with, if you have a
Sun's
gimmick
out,
and it
it's
comes
time
with the
to get
system
outside.
and it's
Give it all you
utilized,
got.
yeah,
then that's a sale. But if people because people buy a console or buy a computer. People, if you buy a computer and someone says it's the complete package, comes with a monitor, comes with a tower, comes with a mouse and keyboard, and all the cables and shit you need to do everything, and then people set it up, turn it on, and then they're told, oh wait, you need this, and this on top of in order to fully. People get mad about shit like that,
oh
and rightly
yeah,
so.
yeah. I mean, if they can
So,
sell, if they can sell, they might have to lose a bit of money, but if they really want to push this VR thing, they sell the PlayStation bundle for like $800. You know, for PlayStation. You get a controller, you get the VR headset.
But
I
that's not
think,
going to happen.
yeah, yeah, it's probably not.
Sony ain't gonna. Sony does not want to. Imagine the bloodbath it would be if Sony said, "Okay, we're having a PlayStation VR bundle, and it's $800." Microsoft and Nintendo would be like, "Oh, you don't want to buy that shit? Well, for $299 you can get a Switch,
Yeah,
and for $299 you can get an Xbox Series S. Well, actually, $249.
yeah,
Some sales. So why the fuck? And here's the thing: Sony and Microsoft are essentially playing the same damn games. There's no fundamental. It's not like last gen where Sony and Nintendo shot themselves in the ass with bad marketing and
yeah. I mean Microsoft
making
and
mistakes.
Nintendo. Yeah,
Sorry, Microsoft and Nintendo shot themselves in the ass.
yeah,
It's a fairly even playing field now.
yeah,
So, back in the day, I used to say you need to have competition. Even unfair competition is better than no competition at all. Because competition is inherently not fair. There's going to be some athletes that are stronger than others, faster than others. But the fact that you're competing as on an even a playing field as possible, that's where those minute differences make a difference.
yeah.
So, the 8th gen, Microsoft shot themselves in the ass with Don, I don't see what the problem is, Matric.
Yeah.
And Nintendo shot themselves in the ass trusting third parties.
Yep.
And some bad marketing. Okay?
Um it would be
And Metro by T-Mobile, play more.
it yeah, I mean, and a lot of Nintendo fans specifically just don't want to admit the fact that oh uh yeah, Nintendo did make some bad decisions when it came to the Wii U.
Yeah, I would say they made 2 bad decisions. 2. Only 2 mistakes, but they were significant. First of all, they put the Wii U out before they were ready to have first-party games to support it. Put it out too soon. They should have let the Wii ride another year. And while the Wii was riding, they should have been getting their first-party games in line to launch with the Wii U. Okay? That shot them in the ass. Secondly, and here's the other important thing, that is the second significant problem. They thought that third parties would fill the gap while they got their shit in order to have the big games to launch the next year. That's on Nintendo. They shouldn't have done that because third parties aren't worth a damn. Even Sony and Microsoft are found out last gen. Third parties are like a gold digger woman.
Yeah.
You are only as useful to a third party as long as what have you done for them lately.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why they've been that's why they've been making acquisitions, pushing their first party studios a little more heavily than they have in the past. Yeah, they can't rely on those people. They notice how they aren't making all these sweetheart deals as many of them, or as they're not doling out as much money as they used to back during the 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One days.
Yeah. And the reason why is because third parties have gotten too expensive for very little returns.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. Think about it. Lucasfilm licensed the Star Wars brand to EA. They were expecting I think it was like a 5-year, 7-year exclusivity license. We were supposed to be getting at least one or two AA to AAA Star Wars games a year from EA. You know how many Star Wars games we got from EA over their exclusivity license of AA to AAA? Wow. Battlefront 2, Squadrons, which is a AA game, and Jedi Fallen Order. 4 games.
Yeah.
4 fucking games over like 8-9 years.
Yeah, and not
From
to mention,
EA, a publisher that has, I want to say, at least 10 studios that could have made a Star Wars game
yeah,
of
it's like,
decent quality.
why would you spend 10 million, not even 10 million, $150 million for being able to have maps come out, a couple weeks prior. People aren't going to buy a console just to get maps early in Call of Duty.
They did. the whole dude bro Xbox 360 generation was built on that.
I mean, did they buy it because they were getting maps early, or did they buy it because all their friends were on Xbox?
It was a combination of both. You had people who bought it because they wanted that exclusivity, because they felt like, because it's called a fallacy. It's called the special club exclusivity fallacy, where if you buy this, you're part of a special club, and people get it because they're part of a special club. I remember, you could go on YouTube. If those videos are still up, these dumbasses bragging about, I've been a member of Xbox Games for Gold for 10 years, for 5 years, since the OG Xbox. So you're bragging that your dumbass spent $120
And Metro by
a
T-Mobile,
year or
play
more.
more than.
Yeah. Yeah.
Internet services that you already fucking paid for. So you double paid for it.
Well,
you stupid motherfucker.
Isn't wasn't that mainly just YouTube? When that stuff was going on, people were bragging about exclusivity. We get maps like 2 weeks earlier than you guys.
Yep.
Suck it. That seemed to be more of a YouTube pissing contest over. How many
that
normal?
was part of it. That wasn't part of it. But that also was the marketing that they were pushing for Microsoft. Like, if you buy Call of Duty here, you get it two weeks earlier, or a month earlier, or whatever. You get the DLC first, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you feel like you're part of a little exclusive club, and you're gullible and easily persuaded by marketing, basic level marketing, because that's all that fallacy shit is. That exclusivity fallacy is that it's basic, but we've all fallen for it at one point or another because we're humans.
Yeah. I mean, look at Apple. They're really good at that. But
oh yeah. Oh, you got to get this. Oh yeah. No. With Apple, it's this is our premium thing. But what makes it better than what I had before? Well, this is the newer one, and it's got an X in the name.
Yeah.
Actually, we took out features that were in your other one, but we're not going to tell you that because you're a stupid motherfucker and want your money. Yeah, but I mean, how can I put this politely without sounding like a douchebag? What I'm saying is this: Xbox, Microsoft, like, you could do that now. The marketing might have to change a little bit, but if Microsoft said, "Hey," because this is what they did for me. This is what got me to buy a Series X. If you get into Series X, you get Xbox. You get a year of Game Pass included with your purchase.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm part of an exclusive club. I've got Game Pass for a year. And it was included with my purchase. I didn't pay more for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're probably right. I mean, they did market it that way. I'm just saying, how obviously it wasn't getting them what they were looking for, because they haven't been doing that lately. They haven't, I think, probably near because I know PlayStation was doing that last gen with Call of Duty, and at some point it just becomes a money sink, where it's like, yeah, you're getting that exclusive deal, but you're getting very little in return. I mean, even if you are able to sell, a couple more consoles more than your competition, it's just like, what is it what's the point if you're not getting a significant return on your investment? And these companies want to make significant profits to please their shareholders.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, I mean, back to our original thing, like Nintendo fucked up. Uh, Microsoft fucked up 8th gen. Putting out they first of all, the Xbox, they chose the wrong gimmick to go with. So did Nintendo, because people didn't understand the Wii U. Even though people who owned a Wii U or own a Wii U can tell you that in many ways the Wii U is superior to the Switch.
Yeah.
Um, in many ways, like in terms of features, game stability, the Wii U is superior to the Switch.
Yeah.
I know some people are going to get mad. I love my Switch. You can love it as much as you want to. I own both. I own every Nintendo console that Nintendo has ever put out. Okay, and in some cases duplicates because I didn't want to mod my American console to play Japanese games. I own a NES and a Famicom, a Super NES and a Super Famicom, N64. I have two N64s, one that I did mod to play Japanese games. All you have to do is like take this thing out of under. You take the shell off, and there's this thing that you take out that basically lets you play Japanese and like any region. It's the stupidest region block ever. I have 3 GameCubes. I have 2 working and one that I use for parts. I have 2 Wiis. I have a black one and a white one. I got two Wii U's, a black one and a white one. Okay. I got a Switch. Look, I am a huge Nintendo fan, and I can tell you right now, the Wii U as a console is a better gaming device than the Switch is as a console. Now, as a handheld, the Switch is amazing.
Yeah.
As a console, eh. But yeah, Street Fighter 6 is kind of like I don't know.
Well,
Actually, I like it. I like what they're doing. For me, they're adding. It's going back to the streets. Because think about it. Since before, we've only the only Street Fighter games where you're fighting on a street is in Alpha and the original in Street Fighter 2 Chun-Li's stage. And if you really think about it, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. Because if I was sitting if I was sitting on a street in China, in Hong Kong, China, okay, and I saw some lady kick a dude a cajillion times and another motherfucker throw a fireball, and dude's just in the background just calmly eating some noodles. Yeah. Last week it was some green dude electrified a guy. It was insane, man. Like, who the fuck is this calmly? I mean, could you imagine if you saw a street fight going on in your town and some motherfucker threw a fireball at somebody? It's like, who's gonna be like, oh yeah, this happens every week.
yeah, that's funny. But yeah,
I gotta get some juice.
Oh,
sorry, I'll be right back.
Okay. This Callisto Protocol looks pretty interesting. Looks like Dead Space. Stray. You play as a cat in a post-apocalyptic world. I guess that could be interesting if you're into playing as cats. Obviously, Marvel's Spider-Man is coming to PC. No Man's Sky is coming to VR too, so that should be interesting. Being able to fly in your ship and VR. Let's see.
What, you don't want to be a VR trooper?
And like I said, I've used VR before. After a while, it's very disorienting. I can't imagine sitting down playing a game for like 6-7 hours.
Yeah, for me, VR works if I use a very expensive set. If I use something cheap, I get disoriented and it hurts my eyes.
And Metro by T-Mobile,
Yeah.
I have bad eyesight anyway, so.
Yeah. Same here.
Damn near blind, so.
I guess they're
I'm
making
not blind. I'm very nearsighted.
another Walking Dead. Yeah. It looks like they're making another Walking Dead game.
Well, hopefully it'll be good, because the only good Walking Dead game we got was Tales of the Walking Dead, the Traveler's Tales one.
Yeah, Telltale's game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people like that game.
They say it's better than that stupid ass TV show.
Yeah, that TV shows. I watched season 1. I thought season 1 was like, oh, this is pretty good. I can't wait. And then I watched season 2, and I fell asleep halfway through the first episode.
Where could 5-hour energy take you?
Say that Walking Dead, the first season is pretty good. The second season starts out kind of slow, but then it gets really good. It's really good up to like the third or fourth, like the fifth season, and then it's like, okay, y'all should have ended this with the fifth season. Like y'all should have just ended this story and maybe gone on to a new arc. But no, they just.
It should have been 3 seasons. I think something like that should be like 2 or 3 seasons.
I mean, I think you could have multiple seasons, but just have do like an anthology type thing where it's like, okay, this season we're covering these people, we're doing this story, instead of just like rehashing the same shit over and over again, which is the problem with Walking Dead.
Yeah, I agree. I think following a different set of characters each season,
or maybe a different scenario. Like, okay. Like, the first season was Rick and his little team of people story, okay? Yeah, okay, the standard trope. Oh, okay, we think, we go to this safe space, we think everything's okay, but they're actually evil assholes, okay? We've seen this so many times. But maybe, like, they eventually find a safe space. So then it's like, okay, well, this is another location, and they actually have restarted to recreate society, but they're using zombies as slave labor because they figured out a way to, like, use them as like cattle to pull yokes to plant crops, shit like that, right? So, what do you like? How does a society like this work? Like maybe they're weaponizing the zombies, like how people have attack dogs. They have attack zombies that they use to defend themselves. Shit like that. Nah.
And Metro
it's the same. Oh, we went. The Walking Dead has the same thing happen every time. Rick and his crew go someplace, they think they're safe, but then they discover there's something seriously wrong, and like the zombies are bad, but it's the people that are the real problem. Yeah,
that whole trope. Well, the people are the real problem.
It's like, look, I live in the real world. I know people are the real problem. I don't need a show to remind me about that.
Honestly, they should take the zombie thing to the next level. Rather than like zombies, have like intelligent mutants that have, that are kind of not
like 28 days. 28 days later.
Like kind of like not Elfin Light, but like mutated humans that kind of resemble zombies, but they have
like ghoul.
Yeah, like they have superhuman strength, and they have this need to become the superior race pertaining to human. So humans and these mutants have to fight each other. These mutants were once human, but due to certain events, they turned into these mutants, and they have a hunger for human flesh.
That'd be cool.
Sort of desire to become a superior race, but they're highly intelligent. They can, they converse with each other, in unique ways, in a unique language. So it's not necessarily human language, but something like that. I don't know. Something different.
The cool thing with that is that you could have some really interesting dichotomies. Like, what if you had a guy who was infected partially, right? So he's partly turned into a ghoul. But like through some, like maybe he has some type of genetic mutation that stops it, or maybe he already had a disease and that disease like fucked up the infection, so he hasn't lost his damn mind. Okay, he's not one of them, but he has a few of their tropes. Like he starts hungering for flesh, but he can kind of control it. So now you have this interesting, like, okay, you have this guy he's got some of the issues of being undead, but he's not undead. He's not one of these mutated things. How does he deal with that? Like, he's got to hide it. Like, what does he do? Maybe he goes to a city and, like he's got to basically live in this city while hiding the fact that he's technically, one of these, creatures, maybe he eventually gets found out. He's got to somehow find a way to go where the ghouls are. Now he's living with the ghouls. He's got to hide that he's not completely infected from them. He's a man. He's a man of no. He's a man who's got no recourse. He's screwed all around. No one, do some stuff like that. Don't just, oh no, humans are the real monsters. It's like, okay, can we? I get it. Humans suck. Look, I live in the real world. We know humans suck.
And it's like, yeah, and he could do the thing where, like, he's part ghoul, and he may not be able to speak their language, but he can understand it to a certain extent. And he has man, maybe I should work on something like this.
Maybe he can't speak their language, but he can understand enough that, like, initially, that he can eventually learn the language, like anyone could learn the language. Just over time, just being around him, they don't immediately attack him because he can blend in. Do something like that. Don't just. What I'm saying is, The Walking Dead is boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's stale and it's boring, and do better. But Robert Kirkman doesn't. He can't end a series. He's never successfully made a series end well.
Oh, even as Invincible never really ended that.
Well, Invincible's ending is kind of melancholy. It's not like, I wouldn't call it the best ending ever. It's got some good things going on, but it's actually, Invincible is pretty good, but the ending is kind of like,
I mean,
okay.
Isn't Omni-Man or whatever his name? He's like essentially an evil Superman, isn't he? Or is he more than that?
He's basically Superman, except his Krypton. He's a Viltrumax. His Krypton basically, like, imagine if Krypton isn't just filled with people who are kind of assholes. Like, imagine if it was a Krypton that was basically space Sparta.
Oh.
Where the strong, like, basically, what they did, what his planet Viltrum, like, the reason there's so few of them is that they all had superpowers, and they fought until only the strongest ones who couldn't kill each other were left. Yeah. So basically, like, 99% of the population was killed off. But the 1% left were so fucking powerful that they were unstoppable. Mm-hmm. And so then they went around conquering places, and as more were lost, they don't have enough numbers to replace themselves naturally. So that's why that's why his father had him, because they discovered that humans could breed half Viltrumates.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, really, I'm gonna keep it real. The Amazon animated series is actually better than the actual show. I mean, than the actual comic.
Yeah, I heard the comic's a little heavy. Like, not really, like, it's just he has a lot of fluff.
No, the series is like really like, oh shit, that's fucked up. And the comic does that because you've got fucking the guy who did the guy who played J. Jonah Jameson in the Raimi Spider-Man films. I forgot his name. Like, that guy, he always gives his best. No matter what, he's always going to do his best.
Yeah.
And, like, it's really good. Like, he's like, like, it's better than the comic. The comic makes Omni-Man appear to be just this total and complete piece of shit. Whereas, like, in the Amazon show, you see that he is a product of where he's from.
Oh.
Right? Like, he's a product of where he was, like, coming from Viltrum, from being a Viltrumite.
Yeah.
Like, it's like this, right? If Superman came down to Earth and he thought humans were just like, he treated humans like we treat our pets. Like, oh, my pet's cute, but it's just a pet, you know?
Yeah.
You couldn't blame Superman for feeling that way. Because to a being such as Superman, we would be nothing but a pet. You know?
Yeah.
You know, like he wouldn't see Lois Lane as someone to love if you were looking at him from a logical, you're this powerful, you're this far beyond a human. Like why the hell are you slumming it out with us? You know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing with Invincible. It's just like you want to get mad at Omni-Man, but you realize he's actually got a point.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, to an extent. I'm not saying he's 100% right, but it's like, well, I mean, you are kind of, like, compared to humans, I mean, you are kind of a waste of space. I mean, I hate to say that, but, you know.
But yeah. But
But there is a point in the comic where he realizes how badly he fucked up. And when that happens, it's actually kind of sad. Because he realizes, oh shit, and he just leaves. He's like, fuck it, I can't go home.
yeah.
Like I fucked up so bad I can't go home. It's. I mean, I would advise anyone to watch the Amazon version of Invincible. It's actually really good. I would tell anyone to go watch it. It's actually astonishingly good. Like, better than it has any business being.
Yeah, I definitely have to check it out. But yeah, anything else that stood out at the state of play before we move on to the next topic?
Aside from all the stuff that's coming to PC,
Yeah, that's another
Sony,
point. That's another point. I mean, we can just transfer that into the next topic. Majority of the games there, maybe except for a couple, are coming to PC or are confirmed to coming to PC. The big one was Spider-Man Special Edition with the Miles Morales stuff.
Yeah.
That's coming to PC, and I also think there's going to come a point, depending on how long Jim Ryan stays there, it's going to come a point where you will see PlayStation games release day and date on PC. So
I don't think that's going to happen.
you don't think it's going to happen?
No, because Sony makes too much money off their first party stuff, and they don't want to devalue it by putting it on PC at the same time. Also, they want people to buy PlayStations, even though you can't get your hands on a PS5 right now. They want people to buy PS5s if they can.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do that. But I can say that I do think that what you will see is you'll probably see like something. You'll probably see games appear faster on PC.
Yeah, I think. I think it will happen, but it will be tied into a particular kind of service that they'll have. They'll have like their own special PlayStation service for PC, kind of like.
Well, they already do that with PS Now, which they're keeping. But yeah. I'm talking in terms of them selling their games, because if they do that, people aren't going to buy them, because people are going to be like, I want to buy them on Steam. Kind of like, remember how Bethesda was like, yeah, you got to go through our launcher to play our games. People are like, fuck you. Yeah. I'll just wait.
Yeah. I mean, it's true, but if they can, they can have a. You could buy their games through Steam, but you have to use use their proprietary DRM like EA and Ubisoft, which is weird.
Yeah, I just don't see that being a thing. Just because, like I said, people don't want people to tell them how to play their games. They don't want that.
Yeah.
People. What I think is that Sony's just gonna be like, okay, look, You can buy our games off of Steam. What they'll probably do is say you can also buy our games off of the PlayStation Store and download them to your PC. Like they'll open up a storefront that you can just go on PlayStation.com or whatever and buy it there too. Kind of like how Nintendo has Nintendo. You can buy games for Nintendo for your Switch on the Nintendo website.
Yeah.
They'll probably do that, but because PC gamers do not want people to have control over how they play their games. It's the reason why EA Origin is some bullshit. And except for when EA gives away free games, people are like, I'm not buying this shit. I'm not buying it off of Origin. I'll wait till it hits Steam or GOG or whatever.
Well, the thing is, it's just, I don't know if, I mean, I guess it could devalue their games, but I think there's a lot of people out there that still rather have a console and a PC.
Of course.
Yeah. So
console is easier to get into, less bullshit. But I mean, like owning a console versus how can I put this nicely? Owning a console versus having a versus owning a PC is like the equivalent of let's say hypothetically speaking, I know how to repair my car versus not completely repair my car. I know how to do basic car stuff. Okay?
yeah.
Right? I know how to do basic car stuff. But I know how to do basic car stuff. Like, let's say like you need to replace your windshield wiper. You don't. A console person is someone who, I need to replace the windshield wiper on my car. I'm going to take it to the garage, to my mechanic.
Yeah.
As a PC person, I'm not a heavy PC person, but if I need to do that, I can do that myself. I don't need to go and pay. But some people don't want to deal with that, so they just take it to the mechanic. That's a console. And now there's nothing like a console is easier, but like I don't mind the trouble of not doing certain things and having other shit. But that's my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
To each his own. Like I understand people would rather, play games on console. I'm not going to be like, how dare you want to play games on console? No, do whatever the hell you want. Me personally, though. Like I prefer the reason I like PC gaming has nothing to do with graphical fidelity. I mostly like playing PC gaming because primarily just because I really prefer
Freedom. I prefer the freedom.
modding.
Modding. Yeah, modding.
Yeah, I prefer modding. Yeah.
Yeah, modding. Also the freedom. I mean, one of the nice things about PCs, you can use any controller practically. You can use
Yeah.
a PlayStation controller, Switch controller,
Mouse and keyboard,
mouse and
controller,
keyboard, Xbox 360 controller or Xbox controller.
Yeah. I like freedom and the ability to spec out how I want my game to play, which you cannot do on consoles. They're trying to we got performance mode, which why the fuck would you need a performance mode for a console game? Shouldn't your games be optimized to run on your fucking console?
No, they just want people, they just. Well, I think a lot of this is just, there are people that the way these consoles are designed, it's like, do you want higher frame rate or do you want higher resolution? Because if we had a console that can do high frame rates and high resolution, it costs like $1,000. So
that's not my problem.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if these cheap bastards, if these sons of bitches don't want to make a console that can do think about this, okay? Think about how ridiculous this shit is. Remember, during the 6th gen. We had the GameCube and the Xbox, where there was routinely games that were doing 480p, or you could up-res them to 600p, which was HD for the time. Okay?
Yeah.
And you could, and they were steady. They were steady doing whatever the fuck they had to do. And yet now, they're like, oh, we can't do 60 frames per second. You either have pretty graphics and 30 frames per second with dips, or less pretty graphics and 60 frames mostly solid. What type of sorry ass shit is this?
I mean, yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It should be able to have the best of both worlds at the end of the day. Should be able to do 4K 120 or at least 4K 60. Which some games do, but
I would rather have 1080p 60. That's all I want. If we could just get 1080p 60 solid, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
Maybe on the Switch 720 60. I don't need 2K. First of all, you need a 2K TV or monitor in order to enjoy 2K. All right?
Yeah.
And if you're sitting close enough to the screen, you're not going to tell any goddamn way.
Yeah.
Okay? So, look, I just want 1080p 60. That's it. That's not too much to ask. Like, I'm not asking for the world. I don't want 2K, 4K, 8K. I just want 1080p 60. Is that too much to ask? Apparently it is.
Yeah. You got people out here that want 8K 60.
No, because at that resolution, it like if you did 8K 60, that would be too much. Like that, literally, you couldn't run your system.
Well, I mean, even the top tier cards like the 3090 Ti, that can barely, they can possibly barely do 60 frames at 8K.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it, but you would basically need like in order to run that card, you would need a very expensive cooling system for both the card and your CPU.
Yeah.
Your machine would produce a fuck ton of heat and draw a lot of power.
Yeah.
And you couldn't do anything else while it was doing 8K.
No.
Like, you know how, like, sometimes you have other shit running in the background on your PC? Not on 8K, you can't. And once again, I mean, like, we don't even have any truly 8K games. We don't have any 4K games. Everything is, like, 2K up-resed.
Yeah, I mean, there are assets they might use that are 4K,
but not all the assets.
Yeah.
Some of the assets. Because the games would be huge. The game, 8K game, a normal 60 gig 8K game would be a terabyte with the uncompressed assets. Yeah. So you'd need a CPU that could decompress the assets, and you'd need a GPU that could render them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what I'm saying is this. It's unrealistic to ask for 8K as a standard for gaming. But I don't think I'm being unrealistic for saying, can we just get 1080p 60 frames per second?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you help a brother out, please?
Yeah.
just, I mean, I'm not asking for the world, I just want some basic shit that y'all should be able to do.
Yeah, exactly. And, let's see. Yeah, so it's interesting to see that, this is, the Spider-Man game is the biggest, this is a pretty big game for PlayStation, so it's interesting to see that one of their biggest titles is switching platforms. The sales has been pretty good on PC, so I don't see them stopping porting games anytime soon. Whether it's and like you said, I think they will port games much faster than they have been. So
yeah, I mean, that's extra money.
Yeah.
If someone tells you you can spend, you can spend $10 million and make You could spend $10 million porting a game, okay, and sell an extra 5, 6, 7 million of that game at full price. Let me do the math here. Let's see, calculator. Calculator app. Let's see. Okay, you can make a game for 10. Let's say you make a game for 10 million. Okay, $10 million to port it. Okay, port it to PC. Okay, and you sell it for $60, and you sell, let's say, 5 million copies.
Yeah.
Okay, that is three. That's 300. That's $300 million. $300 million of revenue generated. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So take away the 10 million they spent to create that port. They generated they generated $290 million of revenue.
Yeah.
That's just 5 million for Spider-Man selling at full price.
Yeah.
And you know it's gonna sell. So
yeah.
let's say they sell 10 million, right?
Yeah.
10 million copies. Let's see, 1, 2, that's a million, one more zero. Times 60 equals 600 million, right?
Yeah.
Minus the 10 million they spent, that's $590 million. So why the fuck would they not, you know,
Yeah.
this is a no-brainer.
No, yeah, I remember when when Sony started moving games, I think they were putting games on PC. There were some, typical salty fanboys being like, oh, Sony betrayed us. They betrayed us. They're putting games on PC. It's like they're a company that wants to maximize their profits.
They want to make money.
Yeah. So.
Okay, just like any business, they want to make money. Okay, no one is in business to just look. A business that is not run to make money is called a nonprofit or a charity.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying everything needs to be X, Y, or Z, but and Sony is a money grubbing bastard of a company.
Yeah.
All right. They are not nice people.
Yeah. Yeah. As we've learned over the years, but Street Fighter 6, there was something I wanted to talk about, and I know this is going to be a problem. This is going to cause a lot of debate. A lot of there's going to be a lot of angry people. A lot of people hurt. A lot of people getting caught up in their feelings. But all I have to say is one button Hadouken, and I know there's also certain basically combos you can pull off with just by mashing one button, and people will not be happy about that. They would be like, well, I was sitting here practicing practicing hitboxes, learning frame data, learning the combos, and then you get this scrub right over here that can just mash the L2 or R2 button and just start pulling off combos. Like what's going on? But at the same time, a lot of other fighting games kind of already do this or have been doing this. Like I know Blaze Blue has like a style
Easy mode, simple mode,
simple mode for combos. Dragon Ball Fighter Z has also a easy mode to pull off certain combos. It's and that's still a game that shows up with Evo regularly. Um, I know Guilty Gear also has something similar to that to that stuff
Yeah.
too. So
Well, Guilty Gear is is very button mashery.
yeah,
Like you can, if you button mash in Guilty Gear, you can feel like a badass.
oh yeah, that is the nice thing.
Especially if you're playing against someone who's not really familiar with it yet. You can button mash in Guilty Gear and feel like a total and complete badass. I know, because the first time I played Guilty Gear, I
Yeah,
I felt like the baddest mofo in the planet on the earth.
Yeah, the thing about Guilty Gear is you can. That's a decent game to bring to parties for people that don't aren't really familiar with fighting games, and there's this tightrope that they have to they have to walk, and they have to figure out a way to bring in a new audience, but at the same time, they have to figure out a way to not alienate their older audience. So, you're walking a tightrope with 2 barrels of water, making sure that the water is balanced in each shoulder, so you don't end up toppling over. That's what happened with Street Fighter V. Is you know, actually that wasn't the only thing happening. It's also lack of content, nickeling and diming people to death.
I think it was the lack of content. The lack of content. Like, how the fuck are you going to release a Street Fighter, where you don't have a single player mode, you don't have a turn. All you had was the online multiplayer. You don't have like the single player initially didn't even have the little something that's been with the game since the second game, which is the little like mini games, break the barrels, this is a Street Fighter staple. Not here, not in this shit. I mean, that game felt like they just threw some shit out there.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that is true, and I remember the whole Splatoon versus Street Fighter V argument that certain people were having because Splatoon came out with the lack of content, and but Splatoon was a new IP, hasn't really established itself yet, uh, and then you had Street Fighter, which has been around for over 30 years, and it came out haphazardly. Like people were defending Street Fighter. There were
Like, how
people
can
who
you? No, sorry. Go ahead.
there were people who were defending Street Fighter V for its lack of content. It's like what the heck? If anybody else did this, it would
Yeah,
be you would be pissed off.
and people were saying, well, they released it early due to the Evo. Let me explain something to you. Most of the people who buy video games are casuals.
Yep.
Okay, that's like saying, you know what that's like. And I'm gonna get a little raw here, but we're all grown folks here.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of selling a condom that only fits really, 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 really well endowed dudes. Okay,
Yeah.
most dudes are average. Okay.
Yeah.
You're not going to make money if all you do is sell a product to the most elite tier people. Are you insane and stupid?
Yeah.
And that is, or, a little less raw. If you were a bra manufacturer, but you only made bras for women who had really, really, really small breasts,
Yeah.
you're not going to make money. Sorry. Just stop it. Stop making excuses for bad behavior, is what I'm saying. That game came out. It was unacceptable at launch. The characters that they made way too many freaking radical changes to some of the base characters. It didn't have a big enough roster at launch.
No.
Now, if they wanted, okay, there's a reason they fired Ono. Okay, if Ono had said, "Look, we're going to release a version of this game. We're going to call it versus mode. We're going to treat it as a beta, and we're going to get it out there. And we'll tell them it's so that people can get used to the character balances." That would have been a smart move. But they released a $60 game that had less content than Street Fighter 4 on the 3DS that you could get for like $30.
Yeah, they should.
Brand new.
Yeah, they should.
Are you freaking insane?
Yeah. Yeah, that
If they wanted to charge money for it, say, "Hey, you guys can play the early version of Street Fighter V. This is like a versus just to get used to the bouncing for you can pay to get into the beta for like $10." People, Street Fighter fans would flock to it and said, "Okay, as long as it's not the full game, I'm cool with it." But to fucking charge people $60 for that shit plus an expansion mode, a season pass, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah. And the roster for Street Fighter 6 is leaked, and I guess starting out, I guess there's 22 characters, which I wasn't. I probably still won't, but definitely wasn't gonna get this game day one because I'd figure it'd be like Street Fighter 5 when you only had a very few select characters. But if it's a decent roster, I might not get it day one, but I'll probably get it within at least the first year of its release. But yeah, that's and so I know people are gonna have debates over the what was it, the modern controls versus classic controls. That's gonna be interesting, even though that this sort of thing has actually kind of been around for a while when you think about it. But anything else you'd like to discuss
about Street Fighter 6?
Yeah.
I actually like the aesthetic. I thought the art style is better than what they had. Because 5's art style just looked weird.
Yeah.
Like, the models just look kind of weird. Now, when it first came out, I haven't looked at that game since. I never bought it. I was like, this looks like shit. And I was like, I'm done. I think that, 6 looks like they took, it looks like they were working on a Final Fight reboot, and they were like, fuck it. We'll just combine the single player of that with Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Because the single player takes place in Metro City. You see the signs pasted up all over the place. There's a little scene in the trailer where they show Damned. Later on, they renamed him Thrasher in America, but I remember him as Damned. D-A-M-N-D, Damned. Damned in the background. So I'm thinking there was going to be some Mad Gear shit in here. I like it. It looks cool. It looks kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I hope the single player is really good because I'm a sucker for fighting game single players that are good and interesting. Don't give me some bullshit like Smash Brothers. I don't have to. Yeah, Smash Brothers single player has been shit since the Wii U. Smash Brothers for Wii U's single player and 3DS was shit. Smash Brothers single player for the Switch is also garbage. And if they make another one, it's probably going to be bad too. Yeah, I said it. And you can't at me because I'm not on Twitter anymore.
Well, yeah, let's talk about the Sonic Frontier nonsense. This
What,
gameplay.
Legend of the Zelda Sonic Edition? I mean, Breath of the Wild Sonic Edition?
Yeah, it looks kind of generic. I'm not gonna lie.
Can we just tell the truth? I'm tired of lying about it. Let's just take the rag off the bush. The 3D Sonic games have been, I was going to say they sucked, but some of them are good. They're inconsistent.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, they could pull out something amazing. Because Lost World, when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. And then I played it, I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. I know a lot of people don't like Unleashed, but I actually do. I like Unleashed. I like the change of pace, no pun intended, of the levels, where you have the levels where traditional Sonic levels where Sonic's running breakneck. They have the levels where he's the werehog beating the shit out of people. I like that. I'm one of the few people who like Shadow the Hedgehog, even though it's so early 2000s. It's not even funny. It's meant to be edgy. I like the concept of a character who's the anti-Sonic. Sonic's all I run fast and I freaking use a cajillion homing attacks, etc., etc. I'm running away from something. I'm running towards something. Shadow's like, oh, that's cool. Enemies are coming towards me. I'm gonna pop this gun and bust a cap in there.
Yeah.
And I think that's so much cooler than using a cajillion homing attacks.
I mean,
Like Shadow rides a motorcycle. That's cooler to me than I run really fast. Okay.
I mean, the thing is, people, it's gotten so bad that people are calling for this game to get delayed, just because the showcase, the things that they've shown off, the like the combat looks pretty kind of miserable. Yeah, this game, what they've shown off, it doesn't look particularly great. I don't know if you've seen any gameplay of it, but yeah, it's. I mean, I guess sounds fun being Sonic running around in a an open world, I guess. But so I heard one person say it just kind of looks like one of those pre-created open world Unreal Engine demo things. I don't know if it looks that bad, but doesn't look that great either.
That's what I'll say. 3D no 3D Sonic games have really looked great over the last few years. Like even Sonic Adventure isn't that good looking of a game. People liked it because it was a 3D foray for Sonic, like truly 3D. It was the first truly 3D foray for Sonic in a Sonic game, but really it didn't look like 3D Sonic games don't look good. They really don't. Like I would say maybe like Sonic 06 looked good, but it played like trash.
Yeah.
I would say that Lost World had a really cool art style, and like how the levels were built looked really cool, but it didn't look great either. Like Sonic games haven't looked good for years, to be honest with you. 3D Sonic games, 2D games have consistently looked really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I don't know. It's a possibility. It might end up being surprised, but don't get sucked into the Sonic cycle. Be some people they get sucked. They've been hurt one too many times. They get sucked into the Sonic cycle. Like, yeah, this game looks amazing. This is gonna be the greatest Sonic game ever. And then it comes out, and then they're like, it's okay. It's. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's not bad. But then as time goes by, they're like, oh, this game is trash. I hate it. Sega,
I
what
mean,
the heck are you doing?
the problem with the 3D Sonic games, like I said earlier, is that they're inconsistent. They're just okay. Okay, I'll give you another franchise that's inconsistent. Well, not really inconsistent. I'll give you another long running franchise that has games that have ups and downs, but the up and down is like very small. Dragon Quest, right?
Yeah.
Like Dragon Quest has ups and downs with their series. I would say Dragon Quest 1 is an up because it's the first game. It's a pass for a lot of shit. Dragon Quest 2 is better than the first game. Dragon Quest 3 is better than the first two games. Then Dragon Quest 4 comes out. And Dragon Quest 4 for me is kind of like, I don't like this as much as the first three games. To me, that's a down. Some people might like it more than that, but it's a down. Then Dragon Quest 5, really good. Really fucking good. Dragon Quest 6, better than 5. Both of them are equally really good. Then you have Dragon Quest 7. That's kind of a down for me a little bit. Like, I don't like 7 as much as the other one. Then you get Dragon Quest 8, fucking amazing. Dragon Quest 9, not as good as 8, but still pretty good. Dragon Quest 10, I can't answer it. It's never been localized. Leave that out. Dragon Quest 11, kinda, not really. If you compare it to 9, it's not great. like I would say, like I know what they were trying to go for 11. They wanted it to be in the vein of 8. But if you're gonna make a Dragon Quest that's like 8, your story has to be as good or better than 8. It is not.
Yeah.
So 11 is like, the dip. If 8 is like a 95, not 11 is like a 90.
Yeah.
That's a drop in quality, but it's not, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you go from there to whatever the fuck the next one's going to be, Dragon Quest 12. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, here's to hoping that the game at least comes out all right. It's not gonna probably blow anybody away, but hopefully it can come out all right, and then maybe Sega can actually improve upon, you know, this particular Sonic formula. That's not gonna happen because they want their they want their 95 Metacritic score, because this is indicative of how, whether people get their bonuses or not, which is completely and utterly insane to me. It's like I'd figure it would be more about how much the game sells, but they really want to put that that accolade sticker on their box or on the advertisement of their game. So yeah, another Sonic 3D game that's probably going to come out and disappoint everybody.
I mean, look, I don't want to say it's going to be terrible. Okay? I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
What I will say is that the chances of it being terrible are very high.
Yeah.
Not because the game looks bad, but because like the last few 3D Sonic games have not been good. Like Sonic Colors 3D, great. Sonic Boom, terrible. Sonic Lost World, good. Even the Wii Sonic games, which I know a lot of people hate those games, but they weren't terrible. They just were simplified, but they weren't terrible. The problem with Sega is that they're inconsistent. Their 3D Sonic games are inconsistent. Like, you don't know if they're going to be good, if they're going to be terrible. It's very like up or down. It's inconsistent.
Yeah.
And you can't run a video game. You can't make video games and have them be inconsistent. Like, this game's really good, this game's really bad. I mean, even Nintendo, even though they say Nintendo makes some of the best games in the industry, they have inconsistent franchises. Paper Mario is a perfect example.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The first Paper Mario is basic, but we kind of it gets overpraised because it was one of the few RPGs on the N64. But if you take a step back and compare it to the other games in its genre that were in the same generation, is it better than Final Fantasy IX? No.
Yeah.
Is it better than Suikoden? No. There's better RPGs that came out in the 5th gen than Paper Mario. But if you compare it to on its own platform, it's fucking amazing. But there's only like 5 RPGs on the N64, so that's not really, that's like saying, hey, I'm the most in shape kid in the fat kid class. Okay, that's nothing to be proud of, It's like, like Paper Mario, okay. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, great. Paper Mario Super Paper Mario. I'm gonna include it because it shares enough DNA that I'll include it. Gameplay wise, it's a step down from Thousand Year Door and the original. Storyline wise, it got a really good story.
Yeah.
So, but it's still a step down. Let's say overall, it's a C. It's a high C. It's like a C+. Then you go to Sticker Star, F. And not like a 60F, like a 0F.
Ooh.
Like, you didn't even turn anything in, F, okay? 0. You get nothing. 9. Okay? Then you go to Color Splash, which I mean, some people swear by that game. I played it and I'm like, it's better than Sticker Star, but that's like saying, hey, you did better than getting a 0. You got a 50.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you turned in something.
I tried playing it. It's like, yeah.
It's like they didn't learn their lesson. They did learn their lesson from the last game. And then you get Origami King, which Origami King hurts more than Color Splash because I knew going into Color Splash this is going to be some bullshit. There's no party members, anything like this. Origami King is a cock tease. Because you go in thinking, oh, there's going to be party members. Oh, they brought back the arena. There's an audience. They can help you out. And then the further you get in the game, the more you realize it's like you're being trolled by the people who made the game. Oh, you thought this was going to be a successor to Thousand Year Door? Fuck you. No.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
and there's some good shit in there. Like the opening of the game when you go to the Wispy Woods and you see that those trees that you saw in Super Mario World with the faces on them are actually like alive and talk to people. It's like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then all that charm and interesting world building gets rolled up into a ball and they wipe their ass with it and flush it down the toilet.
Oh,
and it's appropriate that everything's made out of paper because it doesn't hurt that bad when they do
it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't. Just... But yeah, that game doesn't like Sonic Frontier. Looks like there's a good game in there. It's just it needs some work. I don't know. Like, I don't think the combat necessarily is as bad as what people made it out to be, or have made it out to be, but I don't think it's very good either.
Yeah, let's be fair. Combat's never been good in
Sonic games. No. Because Sonic is essentially just, this elaborate game of pinball.
Yeah, the 3D games have never had good combat. That's why they created the homing attack, to make combat easier, because it's hard to have... Like, there's only like 2 games I've played, 2D 3D mascot platforming games I've played where the combat felt good. And all of them were rare games. Because even Mario games don't have good 3D combat. Yeah. I would say that Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie had good 3D combat. Donkey Kong Country for the N64 had good 3D combat, but that's because it basically turned into a beat-em-up when you did 2D combat. And then if you didn't feel like doing that, you could pull out a gun and blow a motherfucker away. Like, why is Tails using a homing attack too when he's a genius? Why doesn't he just create a gun? What the fuck is wrong with you? And what was the other one? Shit. The other and Conker's Bad Fur Day. Conker's Bad Fur Day actually had pretty good combat too, especially if you played the versus mode.
Yeah.
Like, if you had the katana, you could one-shot motherfuckers. Because it would slice them into bits and pieces. Which is kind of unfair, but I loved it. But Rare knew how to make 3D combat in for 2D games. Because they knew to make it, just turn it into a beat-em-up. Than trying to do something clever. But, we're talking about Sega. And Sega loves to focus on technology versus good game feel.
Yeah. And I think it'll, I don't know. I'm just gonna wait and see. It's one of those wait and see sort of things for me.
I think it can be good, but they're gonna they might have to delay this game till next year.
Yeah, I think that
if it's supposed to come out. which might be a good thing. Just you know what? We'll just delay it till next year. I know because the problem with Sega is that they always want to they release a Sonic game just to meet a deadline
Yeah.
instead of like, look, we got to push this back to next year because this shit is gonna be terrible if we don't.
Yeah.
Do they have the balls to do that?
Here's hoping they do. I know everybody wants to come out with their big holiday game, but whatever.
Yeah, they all need to stop dropping games in September, October, and November any goddamn way. Because look, listen, I don't know about you, but I got money all year round, and I got a weekend all year round. You don't have to put everything out.
Yeah.
On Saturdays. I mean, on the weekends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop it.
So I guess this new Diablo game, the Diablo's Immortals,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it's free to play, right? They're not charging you for it.
Yes, it is free to play.
So there's a lot of free to play chicanery going on with this game. A lot of was it like level capping? Making it harder to level up.
It's progress gating.
Or
Like
progress
you
gating,
can't you can't get to certain areas unless you reach a certain level. But in order, like once you hit level 30, each successive level is like exponentially difficult to reach unless you want to do a lot of in-game grinding, or you could spend, real money.
Yeah.
The choice is yours.
Kind of wish some of these games had like a package that you get once you hit like a certain level that you can just be like, yeah, pick up this $50 to $60 package, and then you'll be able to enjoy the game to its without having to worry about shelling out thousands of dollars to get to the next level. But,
or, not play it. Go play something else.
That too. That's always good.
Like everyone, like, okay, the only way I would play that game is if the only way I would play that game, just to be 100% honest with you, is if I had a Twitch channel and I had Twitch viewers who were giving me money to play the game. Like, I wouldn't go out of my way to play Diablo Immortals.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to pay me to play it because it looks, I mean, there's a good game in there. It's just fucked up with all that monetization bullshit.
Yeah. Well. Anything you like to say about this before we move on to the free topic?
Nothing except, I got some breaking news. The Berserk manga will continue after Kentaro Miura's death. So we're finally gonna get the ultimate confrontation between Guts
Griffith.
and Griffith. Because listen, we've been waiting. We've been waiting for these two people to come together and fight it out. Because I mean, you've got the evil bastard Griffith and the man who will not die, Guts. Oh man, this is gonna be good.
We've been waiting almost damn near 30 years for this. Actually,
I'm salivating. I'm salivating to see it.
Yeah, it's yeah. That's why I've been collecting the Berserk, big giant Berserk special edition manga. I've read through the first 5 of them, so I got through the Golden, obviously the Black Swordsman arc, the Golden Age arc, and the Lost Children arc. That series is really good. I've been enjoying it. But yeah, I'm glad they're continuing it after Mira's death. And
they're using his studio filled with his apprentices and students. So, and the final volume will be completed by Mura and will be published by Dark Horse in November. And it's going to be the following credits: original work by Kentaro Miura, manga by Studio Gaga, supervised by Koji Mori.
Yeah.
I butchered his name, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, that was great news when I saw that today. It's like, yeah, that's good. That is good because that, you know,
You don't like being left on a hanger with Berserk.
yeah, especially with
It's some Mega Man Legend shit. He's still on the moon. How is he gonna get off the moon?
Oh, man,
Like Guts, it's like, man, he look. His girlfriend just Casca just got her memory back. Guts just finally learned how to control the demon in him, and he's figured out a lead on where Griffith is. Oh boy! Ooh man! Oh man! When they finally
oh,
what's gonna happen? I gotta see that ass whooping. They put it this way: it's gonna be bloody, it's gonna be vicious, but I think Guts can pull it out. Because remember when they did that death battle between Guts and Nightmare, and they were like, well. I mean, I know on paper it looks like Nightmare would win, but Guts routinely fights enemies who are stronger than he is all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
his entire fighting style is built around fighting people who are stronger than he is. And Griffith is really fucking powerful.
I mean, he uses a sword that's taller than he is. So.
Oh, that's why they call him the Black Swordsman, because he wears that armor, that devil armor, and he has that massive bastard sword and all those prosthetic things of the limbs he's lost. He lost when Griffith sacrificed his band. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine the amount of hate and just anger and like, man, when I get this motherfucker, oh boy. Oh man, when I get your ass, oh, you not go, oh. I want to kill you so bad.
Guts has a superpower himself, the unbreakable will to live. Like this is.
Oh yeah, and he didn't need no demons to get it. Like he had it from when he was born.
Yep.
He's like, look, his will to live, Guts' will to live is so strong that when the sacred band were sacrificed by Griffith, and Guts was meant to die. They all were meant to die. Yeah. Okay? They all were supposed to die. Guts survived. Yeah. He survived. Like a demon tried to eat him. Guts bit the demon. He bit the fucking demon. He used his mouth. He's like, ah! Which is why he survived. Because Guts, he's so angry he will not die. He's like, look, I refuse to die.
Yeah.
And I will find you and I will kill you.
Yeah.
And who can blame him? Because after the fucked up shit Griffith did, it's like, look, you gonna have to pay. And I want to be there to see it when it happens.
Yeah.
Man, you gonna have to, you gonna have to pay. It's like that moment when Goku finally lands on planet Namek and he finally gets to Frieza and is like, dude, the ass whooping's about to begin.
Yep.
I mean, you brought this on yourself. You did this.
Yeah.
This be on your head.
And also, my free topic. Apple had their WDC conference. That's a whole bunch of stuff. Mainly gonna focus on their new laptops. They announced They announced their MacBook Air, and they also announced their MacBook Pro. Their M2 processors. The MacBook Pro M2 just seems super superfluous. It just has the main difference is it has a fan. So you're basically paying extra to have a fan for more intensive stuff, so you don't have to worry about the chip throttling. Yeah,
So shit that should have been there in the first place.
the compared to the Air, which doesn't have a fan, because the chips are relatively efficient, but when you're doing intensive stuff like video editing, whether that be compression or you know encoding, decoding, all the good stuff that video editors usually do.
Yeah, but it
You
should
want
have
to
a
get
fan anyway.
yeah,
I mean, if you have a laptop and you're using it for encoding and decoding, some people use these Macs for, making music, shit like that, movie maker, rendering video. You should have a fan anyway. So Apple's doing what they always do. They charge you more for some shit that should have been there in the first place, or they take a feature away and then charge you for the solution that they caused the problem to.
the Air is when the M1 Air came out, it was only $1,000, but now they're upcharging it $200, and it's just kind of like you get 8 gigs of RAM, you get 256 gigabytes of storage, and it's just kind of like really, really,
And it's
guys,
Apple.
really
I don't know.
for
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, yeah,
It's Apple. I mean, that's what they do.
they charge you what, like $200 for RAM upgrade, like $200 for storage upgrade. It's like, all right, for an extra 256, gigabytes of storage, and it's just kind of like, whatever, guys. You guys are, yeah. And people are, well, I mean, the way things are, not as many people will probably buy this stuff as they have in the past, but I don't know.
I don't know what to say, man. It's Apple. That's what
Yeah.
they do. I mean, that's their MO. It's like, oh, how can we charge people for basic shit that we should just include with the purchase? Oh.
Yeah.
For Apple, that's what we do.
I guess you get a slightly bigger screen and a 1080p web camera. Ugh. It was like what, 0.6 inches bigger, 13.6 inches bigger. You get a 1080p camera. Yeah, it's
I mean, I understand the webcam upgrade, but the thing is that, I mean, webcams are cheap.
yeah,
And spend, like, you can get better webcams yourself. So, like, I don't see the point of paying more for, like, you can get the previous gen one for cheaper probably and get a webcam yourself that's better than 1080p.
yeah.
So I don't, it's Apple's usual. We sell you, we upsell everything because we're Apple, and people, we have a fan base who will buy it. They allow us to get away with it, so we'll keep on doing it because they allow us to get away with it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I think we can call it
End it out.
Yeah, end it out.
All right. Glad to be here, Mr. Red Fox on Proprietary BS Busters. Have nothing to say except come to my channel. I have a huge library of podcasts. Some things are gonna change on the channel because life has changed. Business needs have changed, but we'll still be having at least one podcast a week. I can't tell you which day it'll be because I don't know what my schedule's gonna look like, but we'll try to do something. But with that being said, just wanted to pimp that out. We still have a podcast on the channel. More details coming. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, ding the bell icon so you're notified when we get stuff.
And
All
this,
that
and
cool
this,
stuff.
and this is Kenoshi Abominator with Project Console. Owner and proprietor of Project Console, and I might be, things are, like Mr. Red Fox said, things might change a little bit, so, I might end up doing, videos that are more topical, like, shorter videos that are topical, and, still have a podcast, still, start looking for other panelist members, people who will join have a little more variety in these casts. So also I'll be doing stuff plan to be doing stuff on Summer's Game Fest, like Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony's, whatever they'll end up doing, and just following the news on these game announcements. But thank you all for coming out, for those who will watch the upload, and we will see you